Oh, no.
All right, welcome back to Foreplay Podcast. We're so excited to do today's video. We're answering your questions from Instagram about kinks and fetishes. Well, guys, today I got a new bed, new place where the magic happens. I'm so excited about it. Yeah, it's memory foam, and I got new pillows too. It's just like a whole vibe.
It's like you really want to leave, you know?
Like you do anyways.
Yeah, exactly. I live here, might as well just like make it comfy.
Yeah,
Literally.
Jillian has the nicest room I think anybody will ever see. Like, you walk into her room and it doesn't even feel like you're in, like, on Earth. It's just like the sky, and then you have all of your lights, and then you have all of your, like, yeah, it's just, yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely a good room.
It's an experience.
Yeah, it's gotta make it an experience, right? What about you? What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Been watching a lot of movies lately. My partner and I, we watched The Shining. Has anyone seen The Shining?
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it as a kid. You've never seen it? What about you, Em?
I think I have, but when you were explaining it to me earlier, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a really old, scary movie. Like, pretty much everyone has seen it at one point in their lives, but they probably forgot, and whether you've watched it again is the real question. You know what I mean? But scary movie, it was great. But there's this little kid, spoiler, it's like a fucking super old movie, so I'm not really spoiling anything. There's this little kid, Danny, and he has these fits where he goes into this weird voice, and he speaks with his finger. He goes, "Danny's not here anymore." There's this scene at the end where he's standing over his sleeping mother, and just take this in, he just wrote "red rum" with lipstick on the wall, and he's standing over his sleeping mother, and he's going, I gotta do the voice. "Red rum! Red rum! Red rum!" Do you know what that is spelled backwards?
Murder.
Yeah! Like, what the fuck? It was just, it was, like, funny, but really, like, spooky and, like, unsettling at the same time. If you haven't rewatched The Shining or ever seen it, watch it again.
Okay, I'm gonna have to, because I don't remember that.
Yeah, Maddie, that's your homework too, man. Honestly.
I don't like scary movies.
It's not that scary, honestly, and you will love, like, the design, because it's set in a hotel. There's this gorgeous bathroom in there. There's, like, a gorgeous, like, ballroom in there, and I know that's your kind of stuff, so you'll love it. Just watch it.
Okay, I'm watching it for that.
Yeah, literally.
For that only. I start taking notes.
Yeah. What about you? Anything new in the home?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Honestly, not really. Haven't been doing any renos lately. The only thing I've been doing, we just got Disney Plus, so I've been rewatching all the old Disney shows. I just finished, well, it's not really that old, but I finished with I can never say this, Wizards of Waverly Place, and now I'm watching Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, so.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
A throwback.
Right. Yeah, it's good. But yeah, Emily, what about you?
Not a whole lot, just coaching. I started watching, I was gonna watch The Gospel. Is that what it's called, G?
Midnight Gospel.
Midnight Gospel, okay, because I couldn't find it on Netflix. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Okay, because I wanted to watch it, and then I was watching The Glass Castle, and you guys should watch it. It's like, it has the worst reviews ever, but I was just watching it and doing my makeup, and it was honestly a really cute movie. It's like these kids, and they don't get, they're super, super poor, and they pretty much just, like, live in abandoned houses, and then they grow up, and they're, yeah, anyways, they're like, their parents are still squatters in random houses. Anyways, you guys should just watch it. It's a really cute movie, but, yeah, nothing sexual over here. Just a movie.
Yeah, it's pretty dry.
All right.
Into our questions. I'll start us off. I have a question that I also want you guys to answer as well. But my first one was, how do you know if you have a kink or if you just like watching it in porn? So I have kind of a couple answers to this, but from personal experience, I just want to say that there are things in porn that I do like to watch that I haven't yet experienced. So I would say I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know. But I think if I did experience, I'd have to judge then if I liked it or not. But I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys watch stuff in porn that you don't do with your partner in real life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think it's like stuff that I'll be like, I want to do that sometimes, you know?
Right.
Yeah. It's like stuff you want to try, but maybe you're not like there yet.
I think like there's definitely some stuff that I watch in porn that it's like it's gonna just stay there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you kind of go down a hole sometimes. Oh, and also the porn I was watching today, still not in English, so that's still not fixed, just FYI. So I was reading subtitles today, but I don't know why.
Play them for us.
But there is some porn that I've just by like fluke have tried, and like it wasn't like intentional. I don't know if I should sell myself out right now. Okay, whatever. This is why we have this podcast. Okay, so I'm just gonna lower my voice. Okay, so sometimes my porn, the girl will be sleeping. It's like, okay. So anyway, so sometimes she's sleeping, and then her partner or whoever will like start touching her. Anyways, so my partner he did that to me, and it was like very enjoyable because you wake up.
That happened to me too.
Okay,
I've done that.
It sounds so weird, and it's like it's all consensual. I guess
as long as it's
after,
consensual.
you know, you gotta have trust with that person, obviously. So that I watch and I also enjoy, but some of the stuff that I watch, it's like, yeah, I don't think I need that, but we'll see. Never say never, right?
Yeah. We've got a lot of years ahead of us.
Yeah.
Many things to try.
Exactly. And that's why I think it goes back to the question, like, how do you know if this is your kink? I think it could, like, get to that point, like, escalate there. If you're constantly, like for me, I search bondage every fucking day. Like, I just love it. And I know that's definitely my kink because I also enjoy it because I have tried that stuff with my partner. So I just think if you're someone who's searching this all the time, you really, really enjoy watching it, I would just go right into the experience, try it out with your partner if you're comfortable with that. And then, if you're not receiving the same pleasure from watching it as like receiving it, just you don't have to do it anymore. And you know what? You just like watching it. And I think that's where the separation happens, and that's totally fine.
Except maybe if you're constantly watching like stepmom or stepdad porn, probably you might want to just leave that.
Yeah, maybe that's for up here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Hey, we don't kink shame.
Yeah.
We don't. No, we don't.
If you want to role play with your partner and you want to be a stepsis.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't talking about role playing. I was talking about.
Yeah, no.
I really have a theory for you. I have a theoretical for you. So back in the days of Degrassi, there's brother, sister. They start sleeping together. They're in love. They are in love. And then what? 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years later, their parents start fucking too.
I remember that.
Exactly. So like, what's so like, not that that's something I'm going to pursue in my real life. I mean, like anyone in my family, but what do you do at this point? How bad is step sibling sex?
I don't know. I mean, you're not related.
You know, I really sound like a creep.
I have step siblings. I just like cannot.
I know. I have step parents, so I'm like,
yeah.
But like, if the dynamic is that you're like together and then your parents are together, what do you do?
Oh, so you're together before your parents get together?
Oh,
That could be different.
But
yeah.
Then you can't see that. Like, how could you foresee that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like it's the context.
So you can try out the kink.
Okay.
Plan it out correctly.
Just start with role playing though before you go all okay? Before you destroy your family, just role play it first.
Exactly. We don't have home here.
Unless it's already destroyed, then knock yourself out.
If you want to destroy it more, you know what to do.
I think that wraps up that question.
Oh God! Thanks for watching the legalities of step sibling sex.
Yeah. Up next. My next question I had was most common you've encountered, which is really about to expose people, which is fine, and most common kinks. So first of all, I'm going to go over the most common kinks. I don't know where they got this information, people. This is just a list that they had. But then I was finding some really interesting ones that I forgot were a kink even. It didn't even come to mind.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, right? Number 1 is anal. Is that a kink? Oh. It's just a kink. So I was like, okay, I guess we all have this. I wasn't aware.
We all nasty.
Yeah. True.
Vanilla who?
Not third vibrator for us.
It goes down to 97%.
Yeah, exactly. Number 2 on the list is orgies or group sex.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Right? I know. Number 3 is sensation play. I think that just has to do with like the temperatures or like smells, foods, like all that kind of stuff. And that's what I think. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here. Number 4 is edging / orgasm control. Which I guess that's a kink, right? Like, makes sense. And then the last one, number 5, is bondage. So if you're in that category or any of these top 5s, you're a kinky motherfucker.
99% my asshole.
She's like, yeah, fuck you guys, I do anal.
Oh my
Missionary and anal.
That's it.
Apparently.
It's a fine balance.
Tinder profile, missionary and anal only.
It's either one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I wanted to talk about most common I've encountered. So I was like trying to really think hard of what past relationships, I don't have many, sorry, that have like said that they like to do, but most people I've encountered really enjoy, at least in my friend group or group of friends, enjoy group sex and orgies. And I know it happens a lot at music festivals. I know there's orgy tents everywhere. I'm definitely interested in that, but I was never in a situation, like I haven't had a threesome or an orgy yet, but I am open to it. So, but pretty much all relationships have said they wanted one.
I have a funny story that kind of has to do with that.
I'm ready.
Okay, so I haven't been to many raves. I'm kind of like a newbie compared to you guys, but I had heard that that was like a thing, and I told my partner, and they were like, so the next time we go to a music festival, like, do you wanna? And I was like, yeah, like, do you wanna? Because I'm down.
That's insane.
So yeah, catch me at the next orgy tent.
Literally. I'll bring you condoms.
Yes, thank you. You know, you girl don't have that.
Yeah, because we don't play.
Yeah, exactly. The next one is the daddy kink. Now, I personally don't get off by saying daddy to my partners, but I've had at least 2 of my partners be like, I would want you to call me daddy, and like I like being called daddy, and I know it is very common, especially for our age demographic as well, so I'm not surprised by this. And then the last one is bondage, but that was me initiating it, so not really them, but they were down. And last one would be anal kink. I think almost every guy in the world has this anal kink. That's all I got. I hope that answered your question and exposed me and other people a little bit. I think Emily is next.
Yeah, okay. So my 2 questions were surrounding kink shaming. So what is it? Mocking or criticizing someone's specific sexual desires. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but like we were mentioning before in our last video, that we will post, remember that people get a lot of healing through their kink. So by shaming someone, you're kind of shaming all of the past trauma that they might have had. And maybe they don't have any. Maybe that's just their kink. You don't have to have past trauma to have a kink, but you have to be respectful of that person and honestly just be a human being. So if someone has the courage to tell you about their kink and let you in on their like their fantasies or what they enjoy, like why, you're just a terrible person if you put them down for it. So even if you don't understand it, try your best to have that conversation and try and understand it. If you respect that person, then you have to respect and be able to learn, even if you don't understand it. My advice though, if you're going to tell someone about your kink or tell someone about your fetish, do it outside of the bedroom. Don't do it when you're about to have sex with someone. Have a conversation with that person outside of the bedroom when things are just in a normal setting, or even text that person and be like, hey, like I have something kind of to talk to you about later. It's important to me and it's me being pretty vulnerable. So if, we could have that conversation, and then, yeah, I think that would be the best way to bring it up to a partner. Okay. Next one I have is the legalities surrounding BDSM. So sometimes it can get, you can get pretty far into it, and there's a lot of things surrounding it that, like the consensual non-consent that Jade is going to go into a little bit later. There's definitely some contracts online that you can get, especially if you're in that like dom sub role and it kind of goes beyond the bedroom. You definitely want to have some guidelines. Some of the things that would be on that contract would be what abuse are you okay with? And I say that in quotations because it's in quotations. What kind of bondage, what kind of, if there's any humiliation, anything like that, what kind of marks you're okay with. Number one is a safe word. You have to have a safe word. Different roles of you and different roles that are expected of the person. And if you have them all laid out, then there's not really a gray area, because the legalities, a lot of the time they do fall through the cracks, especially when it comes to that, because it's, he say, she say type thing. So if you have it all laid out, then it really prevents anything from going across the line, because, it's a sticky situation, or it can be, but you have to have a lot of trust with those two people. So if you have it laid out, then there's not really any gray area. But the biggest one is you have to have a safe word. So yeah, whether that's, like we said before, if it's banana, it's banana, but you have to have a safe word that's beyond no or stop. Even though those, if you have those, all for it, but have something else as well. And that was my questions. So next we're at Jada.
So I got 2 questions that were kind of surrounding consensual non-consent, which is super interesting because I don't think we've really, we've talked about things that are similar in our Kinks video, but we've never gone straight into this. So consensual non-consent, what is it? First, you kind of have to know what consent is. Consent is freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific, also sober, terms of agreement. It is required in and out of the bedroom, and it's applicable in every situation. So consensual non-consent is essentially role-playing pre-discussed, traditionally non-consensual sexual acts. So for example, we were just talking about forced orgasms or edging and things like that. You can role play assault fantasies and stuff like that. These things may seem weird at first, especially something like an assault fantasy, but they're really normal. It's kind of a taboo, what you shouldn't be turned on by, what you shouldn't kind of thing. And it's super similar to the power dynamics found in Dob-Sum relationships, DDLG relationships, sadomasochist relationships, So don't be ashamed about things like that. Work it out with yourself, internally, be able to share it with your partner, and just go from there. And like Emily said, if you're receiving this information and you're shocked about it, be a human being, be compassionate, love one another. And it's really an opportunity to explore like darker desires safely. I think the biggest, like the most important thing about consensual non-consent is, one, also a safe word. So knowing when to stop. I sometimes I would recommend nonverbal safe words, like nonverbal communications, but I would say for something like an assault fantasy in consensual non-consent, that isn't always clear. So I would go with a very, very clear nonverbal safe word, or like just a regular safe word, because a lot of the times you'll be like yelling, screaming, wrestling, like you're trying to get away from somebody even though you've discussed this and this is what you want. So it can be you don't want to miss that, you know what I mean? But what I was saying is it's an opportunity to explore darker desires safely. Another tip I would give is to mentally prepare. So just because you kind of have to like fight the urge to respect your partner's wishes while playing with consensual non-consent. Like if you're role playing the idea of, you're a robber and you're coming after this person and whatever, that's a lot of the scenarios I found online. I just don't want to be too explicit because I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. But if you're practicing and playing out an assault fantasy, one party isn't acting like they like it. Like you're scared, you're pumped full of adrenaline and cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and you're trying to get away. But it's agreed upon, you're doing it, you're following it through. So make yourself like safe mentally, and understand what you're getting yourself like into. Write out, top to bottom what you want your partner to do to you, what you want to do to your partner. Write your big no's, your big yeses. So that way during, like in that realm of play, you're not overthinking things, you're not going too far, you're not, you're fulfilling everybody's desires. Start small, read smut, watch porn, figure out like what it could look like and what you want it to look like. I have a little point about safety. So I was just kind of saying this. It's important to find out about what you want out of this role play and what your partner or partners want out of this role play. Be explicit about it too. So like I said, write it out, send them a text, let them think about it while they're at work, and then come home and surprise you. You know what I mean? Like just plan it out. You will be thankful. Another funny kind of thing I read was move any like things you can trip on out of your house. Like like it gets crazy. Anything that could be a hazard that isn't part of the role play, put it away. Like set a real stage.
Because cracking your head on your coffee table might wreck the mood a little bit.
You know what I mean? It just might. Yeah, I mean, unless you're into that, but just be safe. Don't pass out from a head wound.
At the hospital, you're like still role playing. You're like, like.
You're like,
person away from me.
He attacked me. Yeah, right. Your husband getting erected, and you're like, or arrested, and you're like.
Like in the back of the cop car, and you're like,
get home.
Oh God. So yeah, set a start and end, map it all out, figure out what you want. Don't crack your head on anything, please. Another tip I got was to use duct tape instead of rope if you're restraining somebody, just because it's not going to cause as much like chafing and stuff if that's what you want, and it's breakable if necessary. Keep safety scissors on standby. Also, watch out for flying elbows is what this Dom was writing about. And I was like, ugh. And be patient with yourself. I feel like, again, like any kind of like intentionally violent situation, if you're going into it and you do have some sort of like trauma that has to do with violence, whether it be sexual or otherwise, it's going to be hard on you. It's going to be hard on your mind. It's going to be hard on your body, but it could be very healing. So take it super, super slow. And a lot of people need like a healing period afterwards, whether that's a day, whether that's a night, whether that's a week, whether that's more. Some people will like to be super like coddled after participating in something like that, or they just want their space and they need to process and their brain just needs to like settle back down. Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, yes, dear.
Just to add to that what you're talking about right now is called aftercare.
Yeah.
Like after a scene.
Yes. And then there was something about, it was like sublet or something like that. Like when your sub is in that, yeah.
Oh, she back on a different screen.
Swap. Yeah, you had your listening face on. You were like,
yeah, I was so into it, and all of a sudden my computer was like, no, sis.
Okay, wait. And then the only other thing I have is like a little tip. So remember, participating in a family. Participating in a fantasy where you are hurt or abused can be a way of healing, which we kind of just talked about again, and taking power back. This doesn't somehow label you as gross, or asking for it is something that I've kind of read up on a little bit, especially with like assault fantasies, because it's like, oh, people actually like getting assaulted. No, they don't. They like consensual non-consent. And regardless, even if somebody does, that doesn't give you the right to anybody else's body. Like, that's not an excuse, and we need to stop making excuses for those things, I think. So everybody deserves pleasure, and everybody sees pleasure differently. Explore what turns you on, and make sure you feel safe. Honestly, get fucked however you want, however you please.
People assume that like assault fantasies and stuff are, some people have them. It's a lot more common than you think. So
Yeah.
for the person that left that comment on our Instagram, thank you, because you, like, we love questions like that, because it allows us to shed some light on these things that, like, you're not alone in that. So don't feel ashamed about it.
And it just goes to show we really need to talk about this stuff more, because like, even, I don't know, somebody who like has consent or consensual non-consent like fantasies themselves, I was like nervous to talk about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when is this loudmouth nervous? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So yeah, thank you. And I think we have Emily next. Oh wait. And
No.
we have Maddie next.
You frozen for my part too?
Fuck off. So that was my little blurb on consensual non-consent. Thank you again. And next we have, I'm just kidding, Maddie.
Good try, Jada.
My first question is how to bring up kink to a partner. I know a lot of us have struggled with this, and it can be daunting. So I kind of put together another beginner's guide. So a few steps about how to bring up kink to your partner. So the first one I have is realizing that kinks/fetishes are normal. Before you can discuss them with a partner, you need to be comfortable with them yourself. So Jada was kind of talking about this with the CNC, consensual non-consent. You have to understand that it's okay to have kinks and fetishes, and you don't need to feel guilty or ashamed of that. That is 100% okay. Understand that for yourself, and then you can bring it up to a partner. If you're comfortable with them, it'll be way easier for your partner to be comfortable with them as well. Normalizing kinks is super, super important. But yeah, so that's step 1. Step 2, communicate that your desires are intimate and special. Often it is seen that kinks and fetishes objectify their partners, and they become hesitant to do so. I know, at least in my situation, when I was bringing up kink to my partner, they were like, I don't want to hurt you. I worry.
Do it.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, spank me harder, pussy. But yeah, but that's not it at all. People who have kinks, we want that. That's the whole point, right? We get off to that. So the truth is that sharing your sexual desires with someone is very special and can, in fact, increase trust and intimacy. You're basically giving a piece of yourself to them on some sort of level. So, and then 3 is demonstrate that others enjoy your kink. Or just kink in general. Often kink can be seen in movies, books, porn, and much more. Maybelline.
Funniest thing you said to me all day.
Maybe casually bring up an article that you read about your kink. Bring kink into the conversation in a low-key way. Slowly expose them to positive representations of that fetish/kink. So again, just normalizing kink. Show them that other people do enjoy it, and it's okay to enjoy it as well. The next one is appeal to your partner's self-image. For example, if your partner finds themselves adventurous in the bedroom, you can explain to them that kink is like a sexual adventure for you. This can help to put things into perspective for them.
He's like, I'm an adventurer.
Strap on your backpack.
Strap in, because it's going to be a wild ride. Last but not least, start small and work up. When first introducing kink, don't expect the whips and the full body latex suits right away. Ease them in slowly. Maybe if you like bondage, you can start with a pair of cuffs and go from there. Starting slow allows your partner to adjust at their own pace. Be patient and understanding, especially with a partner who has never ever experienced kink. In conclusion, sharing your fetish or fantasy with a partner can be a positive and or persuasive experience. You don't have to keep quiet, just get comfortable with what you want and to ask calmly and confidently. Make your partner feel special and unique to share your desires. So that's the beginner's guide to telling your partner about kinks.
You've like only done missionary with your partner, and then you just show up with a full latex suit and like bed harness on.
Like, all right.
Like, let's go.
Rat traps for the nips.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, guys. My sister pierced her own nipple.
What?
How?
She bought a piercing gun online.
You're not supposed to use a gun.
Oh, no. Actually, I lied. She used a needle. She literally used a needle. The two needles. The one that goes in and then the other one that goes through the in and then goes... And she did it. She fucking did it.
That's
She fucks.
Yeah, she fucks. She got balls. Like my sister. Oh my god. Tasty. You know who you are. And I saw it in person this Mother's Day. I almost lifted
Was it
up.
good?
Yeah, it looks straight. It's not infected. Like it
wow.
looks like a nipple piercing.
Can she do mine?
I was literally gonna say these boys are next.
We're like, yeah, she's so crazy. Oh, it worked? Oh, can you do mine?
Yeah. I'll let you guys know in 3 weeks if she has to get it cut out. Like
It just falls off.
But doing it yourself takes like mental power.
yeah. Like I just don't understand. She
Just
said it
be
was the most
transparent.
painful thing. Now I can't stop touching my nipples. All warm and fuzzy inside.
Does anyone have
Woman with her shoulders. Has anyone had a hard time ever sharing a kink with a partner?
yes.
I like
Fun fact, actually, now that we're just exposing ourselves, when I first was going to bring up like the whole DDLG thing to my partner, I made like a full presentation. Like I like went in.
would.
I didn't know.
Would. And you'd be like riding crop
Sit down.
point to the smart board like you
Pretty much.
Okay.
Had every single point, like why I wanted to do it, why I need it, like what it does for me, like everything.
Can you send it to me? I'm having a hard time convincing somebody I know.
Good idea though. Like that's something that's gonna help you like actually remember the points you want to make too. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just more like, I don't know, like I'm a really high energy person. So I'm like, you want to do this? And they're like, maybe, no. But if it was like, hey, I think I want to try this for X, Y, and Z, like it's something I feel like that would like feed me. And you know what I mean? I feel like it comes off a little bit differently.
For me, like when I was first like discovering what I liked and kind of talking to my partner about it, if you're kind of stuck on what to say or you're looking for advice, honestly, like just go on FetLife. Reddit has a lot of subreddits for all different types of kink, and you can talk to like-minded people and they'll respond to you. You can ask questions, and that's resources that I've used and it worked out really great. So
Same with the cage.co.
right.
You sign up for them and they have the same thing. It just like brings you to a community of people in our city that you can talk to, which is good. Yeah, so there's lots of resources.
Yeah.
And FetLife is still local too, right?
Yeah. You can find people who are local. All right. Well, if that's everything, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate all the support in the last video. It was probably the most fun video to date that we've had making. It was great. Lots of laughs. So we appreciate it. We also would appreciate if you could subscribe, like, comment. All of that is great. You can DM us at our Instagram at 4Plate Podcast if you have any questions. I think that's it. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.